The Egyptians are a very interesting faction in Rome too, as they sort of have everything going for them, yet they aren't the strongest faction. And I would probably cite that because they struggle to field everything at once. They don't have the money in typical large funds to field everything. They have, and I'll give you examples, like, they have everything. They have a Fey unit, the Sobek cultists. They have elite archers and missiles in Cretan archers and Rhodians. They have barb elites in the Galatian Royal Guard, barb low tiers in Galatian swordsmen, stable mid tiers in the Thorax swordsmen, decent cavalry in the Ptolemaic cavalry. They have chariots, elephants, low tier missiles that are good pelters like the Nubians and light peltists. They have safe elites like the Royal Thorax. They have Phareos and Leviphareos spears and carried axemen. They have armored low tiers. They really have it all. But sorry, I'm still a bit sick. It's really like that comes down to actual strengths of these units. There's nothing wrong with any of the units really. It's just the fact that they're stronger versions. For example, Thorax aren't the best mid tier, but they are a mid tier. They're stable one, they can get the job done, but they're outdone by other factions, i.e. barbarians. Their elites, the Royal Thorax, is meant for killing mid tiers. It's not great against other elites. Royal Peltists are really risky, and Galatian Royal Guard are also risky. And worse than I've sworn, they're really expensive at 1380. They have, like, sorry, lost train of thought. Okay, sorry. Did I go over my thoughts again? They can bring a wide variety of missiles. They can go extra pelters. They can go elite slingers, elite archers. They do lack elite hoplites, and their cavalry corps is mediocre at best. Ptolemaic cavalry is good, though it's not one of the better Hellenic elite cavalry troops. There's also their only shock cavalry, the Ptolemaic. Their melee cavalry is somewhat lacking. There's not really any great good ones there. The missile cav isn't brilliant either. They have a wide array of pikemen, though that's really a lesser strength than anything else. I think it's also they're a Hellenic faction without torts like Bactria. The main problem with Egypt is that it can't field everything at once. If it could, it'd be much stronger. But large funds, which is what you should be playing on in my opinion, there's ultra funds. I'm going to spam 10 over Sworn and win almost every game. Large funds, which is what these videos are for, it struggles to field everything at once. And, well, I can't really think of any other weaknesses, though it's not the strongest faction. It's because its main force is Thorax, and Thorax are easily countered. That is why Egypt isn't the best faction, even though it has everything. It has everything, but everything it has isn't necessarily to the best quality, is what I would describe it as. It's a bit of a well, the word's not interesting. Struggling to go over the positives and weaknesses in the beginning part of this video, but Egypt is such a diverse faction, you struggle to really cover it all and give the right words for it, explain it. But I'll show you why now when I go and meet them on the meta channel. So, as you can probably tell by the unit cards, this is going to be a long video. Also, I forgot to change the map to the meta channel. So you can see Alexandria at the back there in the lighthouse, so, you know, maybe it's more fitting. But we'll kick it off with the Egyptian infantry. The most armoured low tier in the game, especially for its price. 200, only being bested by Hastati Italians for 350 and 400 respectively in terms of armour scores. However, the rest of their stats are completely abysmal. Though the armour alone makes up for it because it only costs 200. So they have 2 volleys of javelins and 55 armor. That alone is worth it. They'll hopefully get their kills with the javelins, and then Their armor will make for an excellent battle buddy for your 4-axe, or if your teammates got some hot plates, they can go in as well. But they won't do a lot of damage at all. So you'd always want to bring a few inch of infantry. So I'm going to leave it as. Nubian Spearmen, not worth it. You for 380, you have much better options at that price range, such as the Carried Axeman or the Levy Fureo Spears. Nubian Spearmen have no javelins. Decent survivability, I'll give it to them. Decent bonuses, large charge, melee defense, and morale, but they don't have that great of offensive stats. And I'll say it time and again: killing power is more important than holding power in Rome 2. Always has been, always will be. You need killing power, not holding power. These guys can probably hold for a little bit, being spears with decent melee defense, but they're not going to kill anything. So ultimately, they're doing the same thing a Levy Furreus would, except a Levy Furreus would get more kills because of the 5 volleys of javelins. So, yeah, not a worthwhile unit. And that's because Levy Furreus, which, well, it has worse offensive stats. It has worse stats across the board. But it has that square formation, it shares with the Nubian Spearman, and it has 5 volleys of javelins, 29 damage, 9 armor piercing. Meaning it will always get more kills than the Nubian, and it will hold just as well, being able to allow whatever to happen. Oh, sorry, I can't think English today. Whatever you would do while something is holding, like shooting archers. It's just a better unit for the same price. Never bring the Nubian Spearman, and honestly, I don't recommend regular Furreos. Just get the Levy or the Carrions. Yes, their accuracy is worse, but you can bring more of them. Stick it with the Carrions. Now, it's purely personal preference if you want the Carrions or the Levy Furreos. They don't have brilliant stats. They do have 10 AP being an axe unit, which I will show you. They do have 5 volleys of 29 damage, 9 AP javelins for 20 more. They lose the defensive square, but they are obviously more offensively focused and they have more health. So, not an awful unit. Though it's purely personal preference if you want this or delete the Furreos. I will say this is also a general option. I don't like it as my general, though I know there's plenty of people who do. It's purely up to you, because it will allow you to use your elite units more aggressively, without the fear of losing your general. Though if these guys even get looked at by archers, they're going to be shot at, especially if it's your general. So, sorry. Swords! Galatian Swordsman. Better than the Galatian swords in combat. Though, I don't recommend them because they're overpriced, coming at 470, and hover of their armor. 0 base value armor. So, I will, just as an example, if a 35 damage archer shot at it for sword side, a single arrow won't kill it, but it'll get down to 15 HP. Which means probably a single, 1 or 2 sword swings gone, and a second volley will decimate another half the unit, provided 2 arrows don't hit the same guy. They're highly potent and damaging, I agree, but not for the price. If they were lower, then I'd bring them, but since they're not, don't bring them. Bring the more javelin-heavy units, like the Carrions and Levy Furreos. I just realized I did not go over these guys. Oh, I'm so sorry. For 620, Mercenary Leopard Warriors. They have Squared Frenzy Charge, really good charge bonus. Okay, offensive stats, excellent morale. Okay, survivability, but not for the price, because it's 620, Mercenary capped at 3. They are overpriced. They just are. They have really high charge bonus, which is alright, but for 620, they're not brilliant, they're going to be dumped. The morale is a huge selling point, is 65, which is elite level. But, once again, killing power beats holding power. They can kill stuff from the charge, but imagine anyone who looks at them will shoot them. And in a grind, I'd say a 4-axe would easily beat them. Just 1-on-1, even if they just charge and grind. The 4-axe will beat them, and the 4-axe peeler, these guys don't. Very valuable in Rome 2, so don't bring the Merc Leopard Warriors. They have the mercenary Kushite shield women, which is an exclusive unit, just like the leopards, coming out at 490, capped at 3, I think. I don't know, I never bring them. They do keep that theme of square, repetitive square, and some other abilities, but they also have cav counter, better against cavalry, but they have no javelins. They have worse stats across the board, but still retain that theme of excellent morale, so they do have it. But I still would not recommend this unit for 90. I'd either get the Carrion and whatever else I can do. 11 Freos, 2 Egyptian infantry is going to do more for you than the mercenary Kushite shield women. Do not bring them, they're not a good unit. They don't really do anything for you. Killing power beats holding power, these guys won't kill anything. And I will still have probably the majority of my 4-axe left, or even low tier, after killing this. To just no gain. For you, probably. Because if you're done with my low tier, I don't care. Ferreo Spears. Normally an excellent unit, but I don't like them as Egypt. Yes, they have great stats and accuracy, but there's cheaper versions that do it for you. It's like the Illyrian Ferreo Spears for Parthia. I prefer the Levy Ferreos and the Carrions of the regular Ferreos, due to the fact I can bring more of them, more javelins, more killing power, more skirmishing, and cycling them in and out can do pretty good. They're not brilliant, but don't bring the regular Ferreo Spears in my opinion, though I won't completely hate on you for doing it. So, it is a bit of personal preference. They're still a very good unit, I've gone over them many times, but I don't think they're the pick for Egypt. I think the Levy Ferreos and the Carrions are better, because they're cheaper and you can get more. 4-axe swordsman, the mid-tier you compare everything to. Nothing bad about them. Good survivability, okay offensive stats, decent morale, and good melee defense with shield wall. They aren't the best mid-tier in the game by far, but they're not bad. So they provide you a stable front line, but they will kill. If you're facing, I'm going to say arverni, these guys aren't going to do that well against the chosen swordsman, especially the cycling. But where your strengths do lie is in the javelins, because the chosen swordsman has 55 HP, and also your better missile core, as you have elite slingers and archers, and even cheap ones. So these guys will certainly do the job for you, but they won't do it themselves by alone. They need support. Though they're not a bad unit by any means, and every Egyptian army should have them as their core units. Okay, now we can move on to 2 of their elites, the Royal 4-axe Swordsman and the Royal Peltasts. The Royal Peltasts, a fan of many, due to having 3 volleys of 29 damage, 9 armor-piercing peeler, and their exceedingly high offensive stats of 62 attack, use the whip, and a 6 AP weapon. Though their melee defense is exceedingly low, their HP is low and their charge bonus is also low. They are great at killing other elites, though if they get looked at by archers they will start to drop as they aren't that tanky for an elite, because they come in at 1280 to bring. They have excellent morale. The armor is a bit deceiving, because it says 80. Now first class, 80 is not that bad. It's 35 base. So, to put that into comparison, a 4-axe has 40 base. Sword side will kill them far faster than it will a 4-axe. So, let's be aware of that. They're a high risk, high reward unit. Now, if you don't want a high risk, high reward unit, you can go with the Royal 4-axe. They won't do as well against other elites, though they are far safer, having more health. As you can see, 60, and then they have, what is this, 45 base. 10 more than the Royal Peltas, meaning against sword side they do much better, meaning that the general do much better. Far greater charge and melee defense. A different weapon, just the standard Celtic longsword weapon. 46 attack, not bad stats overall. Though against other elites like Oathsworn, they're going to struggle. They are better than the Silver Shield Swordsman. I will say that now. They do have used the weapon shield wall. They're not the best elite that they'll do the job for you for 1,270. Now, this is a personal favourite of mine, the Galatian Royal Guard. They are worse than an Oathsworn, cost more than an Oathsworn, but it's a Hellenic faction of an elite Celtic unit. They have 75 armor, 65 HP, meaning they are a little bit more risky to bring. They have Headhunt, Shieldle, the Celtic alongside an elite weapon. It's like 69 defense is massive, alongside the 32 charge bonus, 50 attack. That's like 82 attack on the charge, excellent morale. These guys will probably serve you very, very well, provided they don't get focused down, much like the Repeltists, that they are very, very expensive at 1,380. Like I said, Egypt's problem is that it can't field everything at once. So, for example, your general, let's just say you take the Repeltist general, it's a huge expense to bring the Galatian Royal Guard, because it's 2 elites that cost over 2.5k to bring them both. So, it's a lot of money being invested in 2 units, especially on large funds. Moving on to their cheaper unit, but it's a specialised unit, so I've put it the last for their sort of infantry without getting into the pikes. The Sobek Cultists. It's a fear unit that also has encourage. 550. Not great melee stats at all, though it's a cheap-ish fear unit which can prove very, very vital, especially if you just hide it somewhere. People will try and focus them down, though... Sorry. They need to be completely routed off the field, so even if you have 10 of them left, they're still giving off that fear effect. And in combat, they're not good anyway. So, as long as you don't let these guys get focused down, and they, just keep on giving off that fear effect, minus 15 fear, constantly, over and over, then they're gonna get their value from that. They do have javelins, though don't expect them to do anything in combat. When it comes to pikes, we all know how I feel about them. I don't ever bring the regular pikes. The Egyptian pikes are worse than levy pikes. They probably lose to some units frontal grinding, which is completely negates the point of a pike. So, don't bring the 4-axle Hellenic Royal Guard. Despite your cool last name, just bring the regular pikes. 600, they are somewhat stable. They can win the frontal grind as a pike, which is what they should do, unlike the northern pikes. And they're not a great expense at 600. You have the basic slingers. Not slingers, missiles, Egyptian slings, Egyptian javelins, and Egyptian archers. All your basic low-tier missiles. I can't remember what their price is, though I think these javelin cost 340. These guys are about 270. Slingers about 290. I can't remember. But they're not the most... They're pretty expensive what they are. They're just basic units. Especially the javelin. Like, they don't do anything different compared to other troops of their tier. The Egyptian javelin are heavily overpriced at 340 for 32 missile damage and nothing else. It's insane. Egyptian archers are like the baby archers from like regular Greek factions. Though not priced at 250. They're priced higher around 270 mark. Not worth bringing. Though you do have some better options over here, including the light and regular peltists. I prefer always bring the light peltists for the free extra volley to javelins. Yes, I sacrifice armor, but extra killing power I like more, as you should be winning the Archfighters Egypt, as you have elite archers, meaning you should be able to cover them whilst they get their javelins off, and you can do a lot of damage. Regular peltists might be 40 less. You're already paying for armor, which you probably don't need due to your likely archer superiority anyway, so don't bring them. Nubian bows are their sort of mid-range archer, 360, 150 range, no armor like the Egyptian archers, though they do have the extra range, meaning you should always bring them over the Egyptian archers if you want a cheaper archer, just because they have the extra range. They can shoot at other archers, they won't take any punishment back due to having 10 armor. That's what your Cretans are for. They're a nice, arguably cost-effective archer that can get a lot of kills, much like the Eastern archers or Gallic hunters, really. They're going to do well. Normally, you can do many variations of the missiles that Egypt has. 3 Cretans and a Nubian, 2 Cretans, 2 Rhodians, stuff like that. Army comps will go up on screen now, just to show you since I'm talking about it. You can see on attack, you can do many things with the archers. Defense, you can do many things with pelters and slingers. And of course there won't be any really cav sallies on these rosters or comps because Egyptian cavalry isn't that good. But that's how it comes out the way. Thought I'd do it now since I'm talking about it. 2 elite missiles at the Rhodian and Cretan. Cretan, top 3, one of the top 3 archers in the game, maxed at 3 because they're mercenary, 30 armor, 55 HP and morale, 40 damage. Excellent across the board. They're going to win you many archer fights, they can do a lot of damage. They probably beat the Syrians in an archer fight, so they're not as good at dumping the enemy as they don't have precision shot, but they've quick reload. Rhodians, shared with many factions like Athens and Macedon, they're going to do awful damage. Probably could even get a double chevron semi-often, because the AP of their sling stones. Somewhat armoured at 25 with a shield for about 30 block chance, I think. Good HP and morale, better than the Balearic, though they do cost 590. They're rather expensive. So one time someone told me Cretan archers were a price and brought Egyptian archers. You could place your money that we lost that game. You got several skirmish cav options, though none of them are necessarily good. Tarentines are okay, they're not brilliant. They're tanky, survivable, do okay damage, though they cost 560, and honestly I'd rather just get an extra Peltist, Rhodian, Nubian, because they can do more for them, more for you. And against Saba or Parthia, maybe you can bring one, but I'd more or less rely on bringing elephants or Ptolemaic cavalry for that. God. Sorry. Skirmisher Cav, 29 missile damage, very light, no survivability, don't bring them. You shouldn't really bring any Egyptian Skirmish Cav, you should stick to the foot missiles and rely on Ptolemaics. Same with the Caval Archers. Can't even shoot in a 360 radius, as you can see. No survivability, and they're not that good on the charge, even though they're camels. So don't bring any of the Egyptian Skirmish Cav, they're not good for Egypt. Ptolemaic Cav is one of the Hellenic elite cav variants. Without the elite lance, less charge bonus, but they have really high attack. Little bit overpriced at 1300, so they're still an option you can bring as Egypt. Voice is giving way. Gotta gloss over these quick. So yeah, you could bring the Ptolemaics as a gen option, which is many, which I will say now. You got the Ptolemaic, you have the Royal Thorax, the Royal Peltists, the Carians, the Chariot, the African War Elephant. So yeah, I'd like these as a gen option a lot because they do give the flexibility of having a heavy cavalry general, and they're great late game. But you got the elephants, African War Elephants. Both of them are very risky investments. It's just the African War Elephants are more resistant to running amok, going berserk. High risk, high reward units, fair, but they can also rout your own armies because they're killing them all when they're berserk. They are viable, they're just against the right factions. Or if you don't think the players in the opposite team are that good. Scythe Chariots, once again high risk, high reward, sacrificing the tankiness of the elephant for mobility.
Chariots!
Actually these guys are a gen option. Did I say they're a gen option? I think I did. There's only 12 of them. Shared with factions like Pontus and Seleucid. Yes, Seleucid do have them. So, yeah. You could bring them, but be aware they're probably not going to get the amount of kills that you'd need on them. They cost 1,380. You'd probably double chevron 200 to 300 kills. They're probably not going to get that they can very, very quickly, very easily. You just got to pray your opponents out of javelins or any sort of missiles or spears or sizable units in shield wall. Moving on to melee cav, the last part of this video. The sense of cavalry is bad, don't bring it. medium mass, not got good stats other than tankiness. Light cav, don't even bring it, it's light, so that's all you need to know. Camel spearmen are good to 420 because they're camels, and they can easily get a lot of kills in archers, because camels don't collide when they charge, they're better against infantry, but worse against cavalry. Egyptian cavalry, I kinda like it, though they don't have great stats overall, cost 600. Would rather get pikemen, an extra missile, the camel spearmen, and a low tier. You get what I'm saying. Low morale too. So, Egyptian cavalry roster isn't that great, though the core units will always be the Thorax, Carians and Levifereos, Egyptians, and then you got the elite archers, and you got mix and match of the elites, and that'll do it. Hopefully by the next video I'll be feeling better and talk without coughing so much, so see ya.